We administered the G virus to subject 628, who had shown slight resistance to the T virus. What a twist! Oh my god. He's got it all! Peak physical and mental form, I would say. Greetings, scholars. If you're here, I assume it's because you're interested in leveling up your channel point redeem game. A lot of channel point rewards, they're fun to begin with, but over time they start getting a bit stale because people know exactly what to expect. As a VTuber, you have so many tools at your disposal to make your stream as interactive as possible. Now, I may not have hundreds of viewers, but using these techniques, I do get hundreds of channel point redeems every stream, usually anywhere between 250 and 500. And I would really love to make that happen for you as well. So what do we need? Well, fortunately, we don't need Eye of Newt or Blood of a Swamp Hag to make this kind of magic happen. All we need is an application called MixItUp. It's a free application that you can grab from MixItUpapp.com, and it will integrate with pretty much everything that you already use for streaming, including but not limited to OBS Studio, Streamlabs OBS, Stream Elements, Streamlabs, but most importantly, it integrates directly with VTubeStudio. And this program alone can handle pretty much everything that you need to do with your stream. Okay, enough of the sales pitch. What I'm going to do in this video is break it down into 4 stages, starting from something that is fairly simple and easy to set up, and then taking it to a greater extreme, which will give you something truly dynamic. Okay, stage 1, setting up a basic redeem. This involves connecting MixItUp app with VTubeStudio and making sure that they are communicating with each other. Then, making sure that Twitch, whenever a channel point redeem is triggered, is sending the right signals to these softwares to trigger the right response from them. Okay, stage 1, setting up a basic redeem. This essentially involves making sure that VTubeStudio and MixItUp are communicating properly with each other, and then making sure that Twitch, when a channel point redeem is made, is triggering the right events from them. First things first, download and install the MixItUp app. When you open it up, it will prompt you to sign in with your Twitch account, and then you will see something that looks a little bit like this. From here, go into the menu in the top left and navigate down to Services. Scroll down the list and eventually you will see VTubeStudio listed. Open that and take a look at the number here. We want this number, the port number, to be the same as the one that is listed in VTubeStudio. So let's go back to VTubeStudio, go to the settings. On the first tab, the general settings, if you scroll down the list, you will find the port number here. Make sure that you start the API, which allows communication between the two softwares, and then make sure that this number is the same here as is listed here in MixItUp app. Hit connect, and you'll be prompted with this screen. Just allow, and we're good to go. Okay, with that out of the way, let's make our actual redeem. The example that I'm going to use for this video is going to be called Disguise. It is going to be a randomized item redeem that will make an object appear on my model. To get started with that, go to the menu in the top left again, and then navigate to Action Groups. This is where we're going to build our redeem. Making the redeem in this menu, as opposed to the Twitch channel points menu, will allow us a greater amount of flexibility when we start to make the redeem progressively more complicated. Create a new action group using this button down at the bottom, and you will get the command editor window popping up. This is where all of the different actions that we want the program to take need to be placed. Give this action a name, so we're going to go with Disguise Group. And then we're going to add our first action to the list. To add an action, go to the menu down in the bottom left, scroll down to VTubeStudio, hit the plus sign, and this will pop up here. So we have a couple of different things that we can do. We can load a model in VTubeStudio, we can move a model, and we can run a hotkey. For this, we want to run a hotkey. We select our model that we are using, and then we'll need to select a hotkey to trigger. Now, we haven't made one yet, so that's the next step. Hit the save icon at the bottom, and then go into your VTubeStudio. Because we are making a redeem that will make an item appear, we need to first add that item to our model. So we go top left to the star icon. Here is our item list, and we'll find an item to add. So let's go with mustache. Okay. Add that to your model. So hover over, resize to your liking, pin it, and now we have our item on our model. Now we need to make an item scene. So to do that, click on the multi-star icon. This will bring up this menu here and create a new item scene. We're going to call this one Rainbow Stash. Perfect. Hit save. And we can now add a hotkey to load and unload this scene. So hit OK. Now let's add that hotkey. So go to the settings menu, then up to the clipboard on the top menu. And this brings us to the hotkey page. What we're going to do here is scroll all the way down and add a new hotkey. Let's give that hotkey a name. We'll call that Rainbow Stash again. And then we're going to assign an action to this hotkey. So click on the hotkey action, scroll down, toggle item scene, select item scene, and then we are going to find our Rainbow Stash. There it is. Select. Great. So this is where the power of MixItUp comes into play. We do not need to assign a keyboard key or any other peripheral key to this hotkey. We can trigger it directly within MixItUp app, which saves us a lot of space on the old keyboard. So now that we've done this, we can tab back into MixItUp. Okay, within MixItUp, hit this edit command icon. Bring us back to this window. Now, if you click on the VTubeStudio section here, we have our model and everything selected. If we go to hotkey, we should be able to find down at the bottom of the list, Rainbow Stash. So this is now going to toggle the item scene on and off, adding or removing the mustache. If I test the command here, you'll see it's working correctly. Fantastic. Hit save again. And now we are going to go to the Twitch channel points rewards menu. Now, as you can see, I've already got a ridiculous amount of redeems already here. Just pretend they don't exist. And we're going to go down to the bottom and hit create new channel point reward. We're going to name it Disguise. Hit OK. And we will see a familiar looking window popping up. So here, what we want to do is we want to find our action group that we made before. Head down to the menu at the bottom again, and this time select the action command. Add the action, and we will see this little menu here. So what we want to do is we want to go to the command type and choose action group. Now you can see here, I've got one already called disguise group. That's what we want to use. So what this means is when the channel point reward that this is now attached to is triggered, it is going to also trigger the action group that we made. As you can see, if I test the command, it is working correctly. We hit save, Let's give it a spin. If I go into my Twitch chat, I go to my channel point rewards. We see our reward that we created. If I hit that now and redeem it, our mustache appears. This is the most simple implementation of this idea. Let's start to build on it a little bit more. Let's say that we only want this mustache to last for 2 minutes. Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to go into our VTubeStudio settings, go back to where our hotkey was, scroll down, and you will see that there is an option for stop after X amount of seconds. So we turn that on. We're going to turn this on to 120 seconds. And that means that whenever this channel point reward is triggered, after 2 minutes, it will disappear again. This takes a lot of the stress off you. So what we then need to do within our Twitch settings, on the channel point reward, we need to also add a cooldown. If you tab back to MixItUp, you can actually get straight to the Twitch channel point reward settings by hitting this button in the bottom right called Channel Points Editor. With this window open in your browser, go to Manage Rewards and Challenges. You will see your reward that you created, in this case, Disguise. We're going to Edit. If you want to, you can also change the cost now. I'm going to leave it at 1. And then down at the bottom, we're going to do cooldown and limits, toggled on. And then we're going to specify 2 minutes. Hit save. Now, why did we do this? Basically, what this will mean is if I redeem this channel point, it will turn on the disguise, this mustache, and then nobody else can trigger that event for 2 minutes. After those 2 minutes are up, the mustache will disappear and someone can redeem it once again if they want to. This will avoid some very strange interference and interactions when one person will turn it on, another person will turn it off, and it gets very, very messy very, very fast. So I personally recommend adding this failsafe. Fantastic. Hopefully at this stage, everything is working, it's connected, and at the very least, you have a basic channel point reward set up. Now, let's take it to the next level. Let's add some randomization. This is the fun part. When set up, neither you as the streamer or your audience know exactly what the results of the redeem will be. Pretty spicy. There are several ways that you can do this, but I'm going to show you the most straightforward one. It does limit some of the more advanced options later, but we're not going to worry about that for now. This method involves stacking items within a single item scene. VTubeStudio will then randomly choose which one of those items will be displayed at any one time. So, let's get stacking. Perfection. Okay, now that we've got all of our items beautifully stacked, we need to make a new item scene. So, same way as before, click the multiple star button up top, create new item scene. We're going to call this Disguise, save, and now we can assign this hotkey. So, go to the menu, go to the hotkeys menu, scroll down, and to make things easier, I'm just going to rename and replace the old expression. So we'll call this Disguise. Toggle item scene, keep this the same. Item scene, let's change this to Disguise. And then there is one setting that we are going to change here, and that is random item in scene. Now, if we go back to our Disguise redeem within MixItUp, we'll see that, fortunately, everything has corrected itself to the new naming conventions that we've used. So this is correct. If we edit the command, it's also changed to the Disguise hotkey from the Rainbow Stash hotkey. So we're all good on this front. And now every time we test that command or trigger it with our channel points, it should choose a different item every time. Let's try it out. Every time that we run the test command, we are now getting a different item. And the same will apply to any time you use the channel point redeem. Okay, so by this point we have a pretty functional randomized item redeem, but how can we give it some more character? How can we add a little bit more of a dynamic element to it? A little bit more randomness. You could add sound effects or other visual animations, video clips. There's really no limit to what you could do. Fortunately, they all use the same technique, which I'll show you now. For this demonstration, let's go with sound effects. So the first thing we need to do is add a new action group. Go to the menu in the top left, the action group menu, then add a new action group. Let's call this one Disguise Sound. Once again, there are multiple ways that you can achieve randomization within MixItUp, with the more complex methods giving you more flexibility. But we'll stick with the easiest method for now, and then if there's enough demand, maybe I'll make another video later on. What we're going to do is add a number of sound actions. So we add these in the same way, go to the submenu, find sound, add the action, and we're going to add our first sound to the list. Hit the browse button, choose your first file, and make sure that it works. Hit the test command. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take a shortcut here. I'm going to hit the duplicate button, which gives us another one of the same action. We're going to change which file it's going to play. So I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to do the same again, duplicate, choose a different one. And then finally, up at the top, there is this option called Run One Randomly. We want to turn that on, which means that it will randomly select one of the actions to play. Hit save, and our action group is complete. If you want, you can also test it now by running the test command. So as you can see, each time the command is run, we get a different sound file being played. Okay, so we've now got another action group. We now need to add that to our channel point redeem. So we're going to go back to our Twitch channel points menu. We're going to navigate back to our command, hit the edit command button, and we are back in this window. So up at the top here, we have our disguise group, which manages all of our VTubeStudio stuff. We can actually name that here, VTS. And now we're going to add another one of these, and we're going to make it manage the sound effects. So I'm going to hit duplicate here, change this to SFX, and then under action group, command, change this to disguise sound. Hit save, and let's see if it works. Brilliant. So now, anytime someone uses this channel point redeem, it will randomly select an item in VTubeStudio, and it will randomly select one of the sound effects that we added independently of one another, which means that there are more different combinations of different actions that can happen. More variation. See what I mean? As I said before, you can use that randomization technique to trigger pretty much anything that MixItUp app can connect with. That could be a video file that is a media source in OBS that you want to play at the beginning or end of the channel point redeem. You could randomize that as well. Okay, final stage. Imagine if you applied these methods across multiple channel point rewards that could be active at the same time. This could be a separate redeem that changes your wardrobe or green screens your eye sockets. Yeah. You can get really crazy with this stuff, as you can see. Let's stick with the wardrobe for now. I'm basically just going to repeat the same steps with a new channel point reward that I've called wardrobe change. I'm going to be using some assets from a fantastic live 2D creator called Dracont Knight. Please check them out on Twitter. In the interest of time, I'm just going to speed through this one. Okay, and done. Let's see what happens when we start combining things together. Here we go. First up, we have the disguise. And then we can combine that with our wardrobe change. Majestic. So the point of showing you this is that by adding multiple redeems, each with randomized effects, your viewers will be able to generate an immense amount of random possibility with your channel point rewards, making them much more exciting and at times able to be combined to be much greater than the sum of their parts. Don't be afraid to get crazy creative with this. There really is just infinite possibility with what you could achieve. Randomize the location of your head pat redeem. Create clones of yourself. Allow your viewers to send you to a random new location on the stream. Make the color changes of your model random. Call down a random array of lightning bolts that automatically change the expression of your model. Each redeem becomes a potential surprise, a possibility that you'll have a unique moment on stream that hasn't been seen before. Why not mix it up a little? That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a comment down below if you have an idea of something you'd like to see in the future. I'd love to do more tutorials like these. Happy streaming, VTuber family. Class dismissed.